They don't look at the data and say, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down.
All of these sorts of things which terrify people, cause the herd to panic and all move in one direction, are what the academics call endogenous to the system, meaning they happen every 3 or 4 or 5 years. They're all a little bit different, but they all have the same characteristics.
Boy, you're getting on a pretty big bandwagon. Everybody's on there. And usually, when everybody's together, they get wrong. There's a spot in the road that gets pretty ugly. And you know, you see that as a trader. You see, you know, when everybody's with you, you need to worry.
So where are the sheep? What do we do to them?
We chased them.
Did we scare them away already? Did
They
already know something's coming?
Yeah, they sure did.
Seriously?
Yeah, well, I mean,
they can literally already feel that there's something odd going on.
That's right. They're city guys. You'll notice the sheep do keep an eye on one another, and if their neighbors start to drift in one direction, then they're likely to go that way too.
I like how you describe that. They're neighbors.
Yeah,
so
well,
if the neighbor's doing something, you got to do something.
Yeah, it's a social group.
Yeah.
Faced with tough decisions, and especially at times of uncertainty, it feels better to be with others than to be alone, even when the crowd is wrong.
We have certain basic emotions which are controlled subconsciously. They are modified and changed by a process called conditioning.
The way people relate to different investments has a lot to do with their previous experiences, the kinds of life that they've had. And so for some people, real estate looks real. And it does have the word right in it. And as an uncle of mine said to me when I was young, buy land, they're not making any more of it.
This is a dream come true for us, owning our own home so soon, thanks to Mr. Guthrie. He told us about this low-payment mortgage.
Well, you're in good hands when a realtor like Mr. Guthrie is looking after your interests. He's shown a lot of people how to realize this particular dream.
Well, I think real estate is something that's a lot simpler to understand. I mean, it's easy to sit down and find out what the value, your market value of your home is.
I wanted to be a homeowner, and everybody told me you need to be a homeowner to make an investment with your money and have equity and blah, blah, blah. And
for a middle-class American, we tend to think that real estate is the greatest thing ever. And people are starting to realize now that real estate can be a complete disaster.
In 2001, almost immediately after the dot-com bubble popped, the United States Federal Reserve stopped the stock market from crashing by giving Wall Street a big gift. They dropped interest rates to 1%. Who would have guessed that the end of the dot-com bubble would set the stage for another?
The Fed said we're going to make it easier. We're going to make things, relieve the strain on this mortgage market by making it easier for people to get funds. And so wham, up she goes.
By the way, John, what does credit mean to you?
Gosh, I don't know. Buy now and pay later, I guess.
I have never seen a time in history when people could buy a house with no money down. In some cases, you could buy 3 or 4 or 5 houses with no money down, and some of them had no jobs. They had no hope of paying off the mortgages if they had to pay off the mortgages. The plan was, well, we'll just flip this and everything will be fine. That's never happened in world history. When you have and then people were having so much fun, they said, well, why don't we do this with cars? Why don't we do this with student loans? Why don't we do this with some credit cards? Why don't I get 15 credit cards? And I can just, jiggle from one credit card to another. So we had a huge credit bubble.
Millions of people use credit to buy the things that add up to a better living.
Well, there's sure a lot of things that I'd like to buy for better living. How about giving me a little credit?
Nobody gives you credit, John. It's something you have to earn.
I don't understand, Mr. Money. How can you earn credit?
There was no relationship to people's income versus what they were paying for housing. I mean, it made no sense at all.
This house did sell for $360. It's on the market for $260, and you're telling me for that $260 I can get 100% financing right now for $260.
Right. See, obviously depending if you qualify.
Right.
But yes, as long as you qualify for a loan, yes.
And what does it take to qualify for a loan right now?
So what did you have? What percent did you have to put down of 270?
Nothing.
The mortgage companies basically just lent money to anybody. They didn't do any real checking, no real underwriting.
In the current climate, how can you do 100% financing? I mean, it sounds like a great idea.
For example, we have a program called AmeriDream.
Oh, so AmeriDream's a non-profit organization that will put down the 3%, so I can go 100% financing?
Yes, as long as you qualify for a loan, yes.
Too bad they can't afford it. But maybe they can. For according to this sign, they can buy this house with monthly payments that are less than they now spend for rent.
I want to shake the lenders that, created all these, 40-year, 50-year mortgages and these, and loaned these, significant amounts of money to people. I mean, these are supposed to be sophisticated business people. They're the ones that need a slap in the head.
Do you have money jitters? Ask the obliging Bank of America for a jar of soothing instant money, M-O-N-E-Y. Available now at Bank of America.
From every section of the country come reports of vastly increased building activity. Now, in these pictures, we show you a few of the thousands of houses of all types that are currently under construction as a result of this building boom.
It wasn't just the big names on Wall Street who got into the act. Everyone took advantage of government-induced low interest rates to buy, sell, or build a home. And ground zero was Miami, Florida.
Even those that came initially, some of them stayed in the game too long. They became greedy, and it's hard to walk away from the table when you're making that kind of money. So a lot of people overextended themselves and got caught.
Delinquencies on these mortgages are likely to rise further in coming quarters as a sizable number of recent vintage subprime loans experience their first interest rate resets.
My mortgage went from $1,800 to $2,700, and I can't pay it.
After a year of paying the minimum payment, I look up and I owe more on the house than I did when I first bought it, and I'm going, hey, what's up? So I call the guy. What did I get into here? And he goes, oh, I didn't tell you?
It's a little harder for me to be so sorry, but I didn't get a house for $800,000 that I couldn't afford, and my husband and I make pretty good salaries, so if we can't afford it, how are these other people affording it?
A booming housing market, once a pillar of the U.S. economy, now in meltdown.
You have a combination of a bubble bursting in the financial world, a bubble bursting in the housing.
Housing for the first time became a commodity.
Well, everybody became investors. Waitresses became investors. Taxi cab drivers became investors.
Those increases were too much, too quick. And then all these developers fell down with all this product out there that they've already built, sitting there because, again, the demand was not there anymore, and there was just too much of a supply.
It's the first place where real estate agents don't answer their phone.